Hi guys, Art here, and today I'll be talking about a few Adult Swim clones we've had over the years. Well, in recent years, they have tried to capture the success of the mature, absurdist, and experimental, mostly animated late-night programming block to no avail. In the late 2010s and early 2020s, there was a trend of networks trying to cash in by imitating Adult Swim's likeness. So many channels began late-night animation blocks to compete with Adult Swim and often lacked the charm or barely put in any effort, mainly to pander to millennial audiences without any care. First, I want to discuss Sci-fi's TZGZ block. I didn't watch much of this except for Futurama, and I believe I've seen Cyanide and Happiness on the block once. The block ran from April 20th, 2019 until March 13th, 2021. And it mainly aired edgy web shows such as the aforementioned Cyanide and Happiness, Purgatony, and Dallas and Robo. More frequently, they aired Futurama and it aired consistently well after the block ended. Sci-fi showed Futurama until a week before it moved to FXX, since they lost the rights. It seemed very experimental, and I liked how they mostly aired web cartoons, but I thought it was too high energy to be compared to Adult Swim. Honestly, Sci-fi is the perfect choice of network and probably the only non-comedy channel that has any business airing adult animated cartoons. More specifically, in the science fiction genre. It just fits so well, and it was surprising that they managed to air Futurama. The block was semi-successful, and it lasted long enough to even have a rebrand in 2020. I just wish the block lasted a bit longer and included more and better shows. Next, I want to talk about a much more niche block, that being the Hispanic-centered entertainment channel El Rey Network's Mondo Animation Hour block, that started in May of 2019, airing every Saturday at midnight. I did as much research as I possibly could, but was unable to find an end date for this block, so it presumably aired all the way up until the channel's closure on December 31st, 2020. But anyways, the block aired a variety of HD-era shorts produced by Mondo Media. Most notably, the block aired Happy Tree Friends shorts for the first time on American television since it originally aired on G4 TV from 2005 to 2007. I wish I was aware of this happening back in 2019, as I would have definitely watched this. Many people misremember Happy Tree Friends airing on Adult Swim back in the day, but no such thing has happened ever. I never watched this block and very little footage and documentation exists online, so I can't say much about this one, but it seems okay. I was only able to find 2 promo videos on Facebook and Twitter, and there was a footnote on the HTF wiki mentioning it. So on top of that, this block may in fact be lost media. In addition, we cannot forget FXX's Animation Domination High Def block. I've already gone over a few points in my FXX retrospective video back in September, so I'll try to keep it short. On January 22nd, 2015, FXX launched a block and aired experimental adult cartoons that were in a similar style to Adult Swim, such as Stone Quackers, Lucas Brothers Moving Company, High School USA, and X-Cop, after it failed to find success on the main Fox broadcast network during 2013 to 2014 due to constantly being preempted and also having poor ratings. It did marginally better on FXX, but they ultimately pulled the plug and all shows stopped airing by July 1st, 2016. They did a better job at recreating Adult Swim style of tone and humor than the others on the list, mainly because a former Adult Swim developer head was in charge of overseeing the block. The problem here is that they decided to call it quits rather than promote the block and expand upon their shows. It had potential. Later down the line, FXX instead opted to rerun mainly Fox cartoons like King of the Hill, Family Guy, The Simpsons, and Archer all day, which was much more successful and is currently the channel's main focus. Last but not certainly least, I will be going into detail about 2 of TBS's late-night adult animation blocks, Animation Situation and TBS 2D. Since they are both nearly identical in terms of shows and bumpers and branding, I'll lump them together. It started out as Animation Situation on April 19th, 2021, but rebranded to TBS 2D on June 17th, 2021. The block aired every Monday from 2 in the afternoon until midnight. In my opinion, this is definitely the most interesting of the 3, as it did air a couple Adult Swim shows. The shows they aired include Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, Tuca and Birdie, Close Enough, and Final Space. Nearly identical to Adult Swim's evening lineup during the very late 2010s. TBS originally planned to showcase an animation block for the 2017 to 2018 television season, but was postponed since Close Enough was delayed to 2020, if you remember that. The irony in all this is that TBS is owned by the same company as Adult Swim and Cartoon Network, as they are both owned by Warner Bros. Discovery, and prior to all those mergers, Turner Broadcasting. After the TBS 2D block was discontinued, Final Space was moved to Adult Swim until the series became a victim of a tax write-off, along with dozens of other shows and movies during the 2022 HBO Max purge. So many fallen soldiers. I also cannot find an end date for this block either, but my estimation is that it ended around summer 2021. Honestly, this block could have worked if TBS didn't give up on it. TBS 2D had a decent strategy at cross-promoting Adult Swim shows, and more notably, the channel has normally aired adult animated shows since the mid-2000s. Recently, I haven't even seen any cartoons airing on the channel with the exception of American Dad. Even then, it rarely airs on TBS nowadays unless new episodes are airing that week. So yeah, these are 4 programming blocks from various networks that attempted to emulate Adult Swim style that just did not last. The reason they didn't stick is because of low viewership, lack of incentive, cable becoming a dying medium, and the shows featured weren't very good or of quality. Sure, Adult Swim has a bunch of weird and experimental indie shows, but they managed to gain a cult following for being unique and didn't solely exist to appeal to a certain demographic. It's hard to explain why it worked for Adult Swim, but not for the clones, but you get the point. Also, a trend I noticed is that many of these blocks trying to copy the Adult Swim feel popped up around 2019 and fizzled out by 2021. Now with cable in an even worse state and struggling on life support, I doubt this trend will come back. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, notify, and check out other videos on the channel. You may like them. Which one of these Adult Swim animation block clones was your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Also, if I discover more adult animation blocks similar to Adult Swim, I may in fact make a part 2 for this video.